Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, a faculty member at a Midwest University, podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants and birds and panoramic sequences.
And I'm Daniel Burkholder, a software engineer and technologist currently immersed in generative AI and AR and VR technologies.
So today's episode, we're going to cover some Vision Pro news and then at the end share some great apps. But I would just want to check in with both of you. Anything new with your week? Vision Pro-wise or work-wise?
Or I was thinking technology in general wise
Yeah.
either, but no, I can't. Everything's been pretty silent for me, pretty calm. I think everything is just chilling until WWDC here, right? We have what, 6 weeks or so till that. So I think it's gonna be a little quiet
Yeah.
until then.
Yeah, it's quiet news-wise too. Eric, anything new?
Everything got updated today, so I made it
Oh,
through the speaker updates and the watch update and the iPad update, the phone and Vision Pro update and
yeah.
everything worked when I got done. So
Well, yeah, I mean, we went from the final master to, I guess, what is the full upgrade. You might recognize I am not in my usual place. I have not been forced out of my house to live in a hotel, but I'm actually on a trip to DC for an association board that I'm on, and just came back from dinner and rushed in here to get the show. I feel bad about last week. Last week we just had too many internet problems. I had too many internet problems, so we couldn't do a show. And it was really kind of the first show in 52 shows where we missed a week. And there's nothing I could do about it. It was the storms that put out my internet. And if you're running Ecamm, you have to have really good internet. We tried running Ecamm on this show from the hotel, and I'm doing 25 megabytes per second, and it still was kind of shaky. So we moved back to recording this show with Zoom because it just requires a little bit less of a bandwidth. I've seen this before with Ecamm. Is if you're the originator of the Ecamm uh, program and you have folks like Daniel and Eric join, it really is a stress on the bandwidth of the originator. So we had to fall back after a couple of tries with Ecamm and some freezing up to be able to do this with Zoom. So we appreciate your patience, and it might look a little different if you go to look at the video version of this podcast. So what's new with me? I have the ResMed headband.
how is it?
How
Unobtainium.
is it? It's what? Titanium?
Unobtainium.
Yeah.
Unobtainium. Well, when it first came out, I am a user of ResMed products because it is a company that's associated with sleep apnea and other devices. But I think everybody knows ResMed, at least in my circles, because of sleep apnea. And they make those things that cages that fit around your head. Not cages really. They're a kind of elastic bands that fit around your head and keep whatever you have on your nose or under your nose in place so you can sleep. So they saw this side product of creating a whole webbing, I guess, for Vision Pro, and it went on the market, $120. It is actually, and I wish I could show it to you, but we can't do that using Zoom. So we'll have the links to it in the show notes so you can take a look at what it looks like. But it went on sale quickly and then was, as Daniel called it, unobtainium. Uh, and so I kept it in my basket for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then got a notice because I had to do the medium large. And if you looked for it, you couldn't pick it up at a store, nor could you have it delivered. And then suddenly, and there's a lot of buzz about it. A few people had it and talked about how good it was. Um, it finally hit the market, and then again, and Reddit had people posting, "It's available, it's available." And just the last couple of days, the the ResMed holder, I'm spacing out. I'm sorry. The webbing that you put on came out and was available, and I got it last week, either Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which. Um, but didn't have a lot of chance to try it for the until the weekend. If you read the buzz on it, everybody's like, "Oh, this is the solution we've been waiting for." I Daniel, you have an Anapro, is that right? You have an Anapro one,
One and two.
one and two, and that works for you.
Yeah. I I've actually kind of I'm thinking I prefer the first one nowadays, actually.
Hmm.
But I like the padding of the second one, so I'd rather use that. But yeah, it works for me. Could there's still some room for improvement, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with it.
And Eric, you use the single
The
loop.
the dual loop.
Oh, use the dual loop. Okay.
So what
Um,
I want to know is, can you use it without the light shield?
Hmm.
I don't see how you could.
Oh, big disappointment if true, because that's my favorite way to use the thing nowadays. When I can. Um, yeah, that really, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
take a look at the link that you can look at, and you can kind of
Yeah.
make your decision yourself. But frankly, I don't know how you could use it without the light shield. There's nothing necessarily in the front that's holding,
Ah, okay.
anchoring you
Yeah, I
to it.
couldn't I couldn't tell from the pictures whether that front strap came in front or if it's just on top.
It really kind of comes across it's not front, but it's also
Hmm.
not top. It's kind of in between.
Yeah, looking at it again, you would need something else to go without a light shield. So like you could pair it with an Ana Pro
Hmm.
and go and then use that instead of a dual loop or solo band. That would work. But yeah, you're right. I don't see any way you can use it without it because it sits too far forward on the
Hmm.
no or back. I don't know. It just how it
Yeah.
sits doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it will. Especially where it puts all the weight too, because it's still on the same mounting points. Whereas almost anything where you can go without the light shield, it moves the mount point up the audio pods.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Cletus says he tried it, but it's not comfortable, and I'm not sure which one he tried. If he tried the Anapro or if he tried the ResMed. Um, yeah, I can't see a way. Now, I am one of those folks who likes the light shield because I want to have that immersion. I don't want anything creeping in on the side on me, no matter how close my eyeballs can get to the lenses. I really like the light shield. And one of the things that I've noticed about the light shield, and typically I would use a combination of the single loop and then the Belkin loop over the top of the head. Um,
Okay.
and that was kind of my go-to. The thing that I didn't like about the dual loop was that there's a lot of cranking and moving around, and the single loop, you just kind of dial it and it tightens it up. But what I noticed with the tightening with me was I was getting a lot of pressure against the front of my face. as of recent. And I don't know if that's because my cushion has been cushioned to death and maybe a new cushion would help or a wider cushion would help. But I just noticed that there was a lot of kind of compression with it.
And
Well,
and that's with
yeah,
the contour
with the
or just in general.
in general,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Um, and so when I switched to this ResMed, um, you look at it, and when you look at pictures of it, it looks like it has like little plastic bobbles that,
Yeah.
interspaced along the way, and that are supposed to be the counterbalance. Well,
Uh,
what it is the thing ships, and it is basically kind of a soft Velcro band,
mm,
and you get six little I don't know, magnets or not magnets. They're the weights that has Velcro on the inside of it, and so you're placing the weights where you want it on the band. And
okay.
you could place all six, and it actually comes with a little diagram saying these are where you could place four if you want to. This is where you can place five,
Hmm.
um, or all six if you want to. And they just kind of stick on the band itself. And when I first put it on, the reaction I had was, this feels like a lot more weight. I thought the idea was to get rid of the weight.
Hmm.
Um, but it wasn't weight like, oh, my neck hurts. So, but that was added weight to it. And then it took a while for me to sit with it until I realized my head kind of got used to the counterbalancing.
Hmm.
So I didn't feel the pressure up front or the weight up front with the headset. It had to it felt like I had put more weight on it, but after a while that all kind of equaled out and it made for kind of a very comfortable and I could kind of loosen up a little bit so there wasn't so much pressure on my face mask, the light shield coming through. So yeah, it's pretty cool now. It does look like something dorky out of a 70s, uh, you know, science fiction film. I think of The Terminal Man, Michael Crichton, where, they're hooking a guy's
Yeah.
brain up to
Yeah.
everything. And I actually have a picture of me with that when I had a TIA about 6, 7 years ago. I did a selfie of me with all of that because they came in at late at night and did the EKG on me or EEG, and it can look kind of wacky. My wife is she knows I'm going into nerd form whenever I put the thing on my head, so doesn't doesn't bother her as much. But I did notice it does give kind of a nice balance to it. I have to give it more time and more opportunity. I did not bring it on this trip with me just because it was the difference between a large suitcase or a small suitcase, um, and then carrying a sizable bag to just bring the Vision Pro. And I'm here for 2 nights, um, really, yeah, 2 nights. So, and most of my evenings are out with dinners or business and things like that. So there's not time to come back and use a Vision Pro. So short trip. It was also in a 1 hour flight. So I didn't bring it with me for that reason too, because I wasn't going to spend an hour, 15 minutes waiting to put it on, 30 minutes, and then taking it off for 15 minutes while the plane lands. Um, so yeah, $120. Well, yeah, I
Hmm.
think this could be my go-to. Um, Definitely the Belkin with the solo loop is the next. And then the dual loop is probably the next, but I'm constantly pulling that on and off to readjust it with me, so it's a bit of a distraction.
So with the ResMed, can you take it off and put it on without having to undo it so you can keep the same settings?
Yeah, yeah, I
Hmm.
can. I mean, there's enough give where I can do that. So you don't have to unhook, unleash at least one, unvelcro at least one strap. That makes it a lot easier. I mean, there are essentially three straps to it. Um, I did find it a little difficult to figure out how to orient the thing in the headset because it has slots, where you have the little orange tab. It has that
Yep.
same sort of structure or function. And depending on how you turn the thing, it could go,
Either way.
I,
Yeah.
I actually had to get a picture of it out to kind of go, oh, okay, so it must be this angle in order to clip it in, but it
Hmm.
clips in easily and clips out easily too.
Nice. Hmm.
So I'll keep you updated on that as things go along. Um, so let's go on to something new. Eric, since you have been available, do you want to talk a little bit about, or Daniel, do you want to talk about the release candidate, or not the release candidate? I think the final candidate of not only visionOS but all the other platforms.
I mean, I would love to if I had anything to talk about. In the sense that, I mean, shots fired. I mean, there were, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, I know they did some updates on Apple TV Plus, with like new tabs for immersive video to find that, but I'm even trying to remember if there was anything significant in the betas leading up to this one. Am I really hard blanking on what's in this release? And I checked the release notes this afternoon too. Um, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
it
just
was
gonna
a
slot it in as that's a WWDC pre-patch. That,
yeah,
Yeah.
it was an Apple. I mean, Apple Intelligence
oh,
was part of that. The S Lady kind of notifications and languaging was part of that, part of this upgrade. Not this upgrade, but about this beta release.
Hmm.
And they've tied it up really nice at the end by putting this uh, little tab. I don't know what you call it, Eric. Do you call it a tab or
Yeah, I think so.
it?
The one
Yeah,
that's got the kind of Vision Pro icon on the side.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Although I I swear it was there on 241 because I saw it before the update and it was there after the update. So I'm not sure.
hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I could
Well,
swear that I saw it ahead of time.
yeah, a bunch of other users would have mentioned it before then if it wasn't on this release. I kind of like it. I kind of think it's
Yes.
a nod to Vision Pro users. It's sort of like we could have continued to give you the Apple TV app without a section for just immersive videos that you can go to just to find immersive videos and immersive content. We could have kept that up, forced you to go to different apps to find your content. In particular, it's content that you've purchased through the Apple Store that are 3D movies and also the spatial kinds of experiences that are available with the Vision Pro headset. Um,
Well, and it was getting difficult. Like if you wanted to find the immersive video, the shorts, um, and you didn't hit it quite right, or you'd watch them and you want to come back, it was hard to describe how to get there. Now, if you're letting somebody borrow it briefly, you just say, go look for the tab, click on it, poof, you everything is right there. You don't have to go searching, you don't have to scroll back and forth. So yeah, they should have done this a long time ago.
yeah, and next to the animated films, I'm not big on animated films. I think I own every 3D video and that's out there, every 3D movie that's out there. So it's kind of nice. I can go to that tab and find it and also go through, as you said, the stuff that Apple has put up that's immersive content that is buried. You'd have to page through, page up and page down
Yeah.
the Apple TV homepage to find it, and then you weren't really sure what you were getting. So if you have not checked that out, um, for our listeners or viewers, it is really kind of cool once you get there. And I have to say it, if you don't have a lot of movies in there, it's going to probably make you want to search to find where they are and maybe even purchase a few because you have this nice little folder for your stuff on Apple TV that coordinates with Vision Pro. So I think it's a good nod to Vision Pro in the sense it says we're going to keep supporting you in ways that we can support you. All right. Next thing, Mother's Day. Did you call your mother on Mother's Day? You guys?
That would be harder to do.
I have a very complex relationship.
Yeah, I have a complex relationship with my mother too. She died like 9 years ago.
Oh,
I can't call my mother.
Yeah. Well, you can, just probably don't get an answer. But this video was nice. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
Talk about it if you watched it.
So it was nice to watch the video. When I think back to how they actually captured the video, I kind of wonder. But basically, there's video of a child from birth through the end of the first year, like all of the
Mhm.
special moments, everything else. I have to think there was a ton of footage, and captured and then all edited, put together in a shorter video. And it's kind of nice to see all those moments of crawling and eating and all of the typical moments where you get a little bit more depth. It's not just video, but you get to see, is the food in front or on the side or whatever, and where's the step. You can feel the tilt on the lean or the crawl. So yeah, it just is a different way of looking at it. I'm not entirely sure how much people would like to capture their own first year, because that's a lot of camera, but it worked, and it was edited okay.
one thing I thought was nice about it was you know, uh, how to say, 3D video, mobile capture of 3D video isn't like new. I mean, I remember, um, big hoopla over Android phones recording 3D video and people being like, "Oh, you can do this and iPhone can't do that," and yeah, no, 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 whatever. Who cares, right? But this was like this is really appealing to me as a normal person
Hmm.
to capture this 3D video and to relive it. And, you know, I hope I will have a moment like that with some of the 3D video I've captured, um, at, some point in the future, and it will be the 3D video equivalent of me looking at an old Polaroid, but hey, it'll still at least be something I have that I didn't have. And it would be cool if it became more mainstream to see over time. But
So
And it,
do you think that this was shot on an iPhone 16 Pro Max, most of the video? Or do you think it was shot with the Vision Pro?
I'm thinking it was a phone.
yeah, it has to be the
Yeah.
phone. Well, and there was a couple scenes of the father filming it, but you just put a picture in my head though of the father with it on, hovering around their
Yeah.
child, scaring
Yeah.
them with like, "Hey, look at me, it's Papa,"
So
and just big ski goggles on
yeah.
the face.
Well, it was interesting because the premise behind this whole video is there are all of these really neat moments in the first year of life, but you are so darn tired and exhausted from getting up every few minutes and trying to get through everything that it you can't really sit back and just enjoy the moments. And you could watch the emotion as she was watching all of those moments that had happened, while now she's awake and can really concentrate and pay attention to them. And at one point she's so emotional you can kind of see a tear come down her face. It was nice for her to be able to come back and look at all of the moments that she had experienced and really see, yeah, she'd been there at all of those moments and all of those important steps. and it, could experience it again.
So now I'm at a loss. Oh, okay. Um, you were talking about scaring the kid with the Vision Pro on, Daniel, and it reminded me of an Albert Brooks film
Huh.
called Real Life. And what he's doing is a documentary of a family. And he has what could only be described as like a diver's bell camera
Mm.
on his head, and so occasionally the camera picks up this guy walking around with this camera diver's bell that's mounted on his head, probably scaring people as a result of it. I thought this was a good video. I think, do you think it'll sell Vision Pros?
No. No.
No?
No. No. I no. I mean, maybe it's like a nice vision of the future and that your devices are recording all this now, or at least can.
Yeah,
Um,
that I
wh-
think will work.
yeah, so it's kind of like oh, hey, remember this thing and remember this thing you already have can do this and maybe start capturing video now. Because if you think this is going to be an enduring, a product line. Well, I mean, actually, I think even them coming out with that suggests it will continue to be a product line despite its failure. Um, so,
I think it's going to sell.
hmm,
Parents are suckers. I just say it. Uh, Especially parents of newborn babies, and they're especially their firstborn babies. It's like, oh, we got to have this. Oh, yeah, let's have that. Oh, we don't want to look, we don't want to shoot the video. We also want to look at it and have that full immersive experience of the first time the kid spit up. I mean, there is a market for for the device in the sense of parents will buy anything to capture the experiences of their kids early on. So
I would
I don't
flip
know.
it around, and if if this was a Meta Ray-Bans advertisement, I would then be, yeah, that would sell it art like crazy. Mostly just at least on the capture, the first person capture, which is probably really the hardest part, especially because being the new parent, not that I
Hmm.
know what that's gonna be like. Um, but I can't imagine your hands are very free and you can have that first person video perspective too. Um, with without your hands. I mean I
Yeah.
feel like the capture would be the more appealing part, at least like in terms of today's like technology. Like basically if Meta made that same ad but it was Ray-Bans oriented, I would then say yeah, it would drive sales and probably what sales it drove would probably be a much higher percentage than whatever it drives for Vision Pro.
Do you want to remember your kid in two dimensions for the rest of your life?
No, I want five. And as I put up four fingers, five dimensions.
So what's the fourth and fifth dimension? Time and space, or I can't
Time
remember
is
that.
four. And I think there is a fifth, but I don't remember. I was just joking. But I think there actually is a
Yeah,
fifth.
it's a dawning of the age of Aquarius. You'll have to look that one up. The fifth dimensions. Um, Rock band from the 60s.
So I I think it will sell iPhones to at least be able to film this. I think once it's been captured, which is one reason I really kind of like this whole concept. You get a baby and start taking pictures. Hopefully it's yours, whatever it takes, and film for a year. Please
We have a show
don't
title.
just
You get a
oh,
baby, start taking pictures.
don't just acquire a child, okay? It's I do not support that
Yeah.
part.
And
But at
don't
any
make
rate,
one just to take pictures of it.
well,
I
yeah.
got to get my social media followers somehow, man.
So, all right, I could have phrased that better. So, my point was there are a lot of expenses and a lot of supplies to get, but you can manage to have a phone, you can manage to get the spatial video, get all that in there, and the whole while saving up for for the ability to watch it later. So to me, this is really record this, keep capture, and there'll be future Vision Pros. And some of them maybe won't be quite as expensive. Maybe there'll be, other ways to get them, but you can't go back and recapture the video later. Um, so, start recording some now. Frankly, I am really looking forward to the next Vision Pro model and all of the new spatial cat videos and dog videos and playground video.
There probably is a good reason why they don't let the public contribute things to Spatial Gallery because it would all be cat videos and dog videos.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the playground video of the kid going down the slide and capturing it spatial, and then you can hear the sound of the nose crunching from the foot that hits it, but just coming right at you, sitting
Oh,
down there at the slide, really getting the good, but being a little too close.
Okay, we're gonna
New
move
topic.
on. Yeah, a couple of
Save me.
but we do have a show title. Um, get a
Oh,
baby, take some pictures. Um, and I think most people, if they're following the news and following the ads, they'll realize what we're talking about. Um, Apple reveals a new face sensor system for future Vision Pro headset to ensure maximum fit on the user's face and more. Some things from Patently Apple and some diagrams of patents they have filed. And it looks like they're attempting to make something that takes more into consideration and care what's going on with the facial setting and sitting, how well it sits. So if you want to nerd out, again, we will have the links in the show notes, both in the video and also the audio show notes on the podcast, where you can look at some of these things that have been filed um, by Apple on Apple's behalf. Any comments on this one?
so I promise I'll bring this around back to this article in the Vision Pro. But I've been looking at the headsets the company Pimax has been coming out with, and just the other day they announced a Pimax Dream Air SE, mouthful. But I look at that and it looks like what I could envision a Vision Pro 2 to be. Really thin, it's the same Sony panels, all the tracking you want. It's just a PC VR only headset. So no real computer in there. But one feature that it has, which I think is really interesting, is it has automatic self-adjusting headband. So think an automatic self-adjusting solo loop
Hmm.
band. I read this about face detection, having pressure sensors to detect how much it's on the face and whatnot. And my thought immediately went to the Pimax auto adjusting band and makes me think, is that something Apple is thinking about too? I mean, what other reason would you need pressure detection on certain parts of the face? Um, getting proper alignment if it's moving around more. aside from just initial, like getting yourself all fitted and
Hmm.
whatnot, like in real time, right? So there's probably going to be something like that in a future revision, if the patent is any uh, insight into the future of the product.
Okay. The other, I guess, patent or designs that came out, the idea that the future Magic Mouse could detect gestures in the air like Apple Vision Pro. And they have description of it, and then they have a layout that includes spaces around a MacBook with a keyboard and trackpad, and how all of this could be integrated into gestures. I am a big Magic Mouse fan. I'm probably one of the people who likes this device. I don't like scroll wheels now that if I have to use something with a scroll wheel on it, I find it real distracting versus the surface just touching and flipping it back and forth. And I haven't quite figured out how to use a trackpad as effectively. So the idea that they're going to find some other ways to um, capture the technology in the mouse to assist with hand gestures for other services or other the operating systems is just sounds pretty cool to me.
It's a weird one too, like especially some of the other images in this patent. Like the ideas all over the place. So as far as the Magic Mouse goes, I think that would be cool. And like well, I I hope if they do come out with something like this, I'm sorry. I really do appreciate that you like the Magic Mouse, but I hate it. To me, it's an ergonomic nightmare. But I got big honking long fingers. I can't. Ugh. But I want to like it. Like it's technologically cool. I like how the design and everything. And don't even get me started on the charge port on the bottom. Not that I care that it's on the bottom. I just don't want to argue with people telling me about how bad it is being on the bottom. Um, but looking at some of these other patent things too, in these patents, I'm sure everybody has seen those little infrared projector keyboards.
Yeah, yeah,
That was the immediate thing I thought of because they have a picture in here of a laptop projecting like two virtual pads on the
right.
table. I'm like, no,
Yep.
not gonna do it. But if there was something like, and maybe think a little more Vision Pro-ish, where like maybe if I was using a mouse on my Vision Pro, I could maybe look at it and have like a palette of additional commands or options or gestures that would more easily be detected because the sensors are on the device. Um, like as a multi-tool like input device would be an interesting thought too, to
I think
have.
of it when you're when you're using your Vision Pro with your MacBook,
Mhm.
that as a Mac virtual display, that if you had these capabilities either with a mouse or just in any other way, if you look at some of these diagrams, you could think of how it could assist the Mac virtual display if they were to build in that kind of technology. Cletus, by the way, in the chat room said the fourth dimension is time, which
Mhm.
I thought it was, and the fifth dimension is oneness.
Okay, Buddha.
Okay, Buddha. I appreciate Cletus figuring that out. It just kind of throws me that fifth dimension is oneness.
Hmm.
Well, okay. Eric, anything on the magic mouse and the
Sorry, I'm all distracted with oneness. Um, um, yeah, the projector concept is sort of a neat idea. It feels like it's not quite useful exactly, but it's close. You know, I like the concept of being able to add other miscellaneous controls, but it feels a little bit too much. like remember the strip on the MacBook
Yeah.
Oh, the
that they
touch
had?
bar.
The touch bar? Yeah. It kind of feels like touch bar.
Oh, touch bar mouse.
And yeah, and kind of virtual touch bar. That could be a really good idea, but is anyone really going to support it and will it just go away afterwards?
I thought the touch bar was so cool and then proceeded to never use it.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool as hell, but yeah, but who used it?
I think if
And
they would have put it below the keyboard instead of above the keyboard, I might be more apt to use it.
it was nice for video editing. I used it for Final Cut.
Yeah, yeah, you for scrolling, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
I
and then
agree,
it's,
but I forgot it was there and I reached
oh,
for my magic mouse and did what I was going to do with it.
Or if you
yeah.
use your machine mostly in clamshell like I do most of the time,
Oh,
it
then you
literally was
don't
never
say it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could put a virtual one up on the screen and click on it with the mouse.
That's true. That's
Thus
true.
defeating the purpose. Okay. Next article is half the size and half the price is what Vision Pro needs to take off. I don't know. This was an opinion piece. It is listed as an opinion piece. And to me, it's sort of like, um, if we just remove a couple of legs of a centipede, it'll be lighter. It won't be any less, it will be less functionable. And they forget that. So if we just make that battery a little smaller and we could do this and do that, it would require less battery. I don't know. It that was making false equivalencies between size and weight and functionality.
Oh, I'm I'm kind of surprised that was your takeaway. I I thought it was rather very positive.
All
Um,
right.
I also really appreciated his comparison to like cars here, calling like a Ferrari is not a bad car because it doesn't sell like a Honda Accord. Like, I don't know, kind of a weird analogy, but I thought it was apt. But no, I felt like I felt like, especially also the aforementioned Pimax uh, headsets as well. Is like, and I say those or look like what a Vision Pro 2 would be a lighter version with that. And that's kind of what I had in my head is if they could get it down to those form factors, which we can see at least as far as the display tech and hand tracking and all that tech goes, is very obviously possible. So now it's a matter of where can we shove the compute, the general compute part. Um, I don't think he's really like out of this world, and I don't think he's even unlike most people when they're saying like, oh, we need to, remove this feature, like you're saying, remove this feature, remove that feature. I don't even really recall him. Uh, no, he was advocating like everything being the same, just half size and half cost. And it's like, yeah,
But
I mean,
it can't be the same and be half size and half cost.
Why
yeah,
not?
fair today for sure. I mean, but I mean, I don't think any of us would disagree that it won't be able to be at some point. Um, just obviously not this year, not next year for sure. Um, but I agree with the general premise that if it could happen at whatever period of time it does happen, it would propel it greatly. I think that's fair to say. Of course, you could almost say that for literally almost any product ever, but so
Eric, if wishes were horses, we'd all ride for free.
hell yeah.
Do you want to get in the middle of this, Eric?
Yeah, I think that's too light. I think and too inexpensive. I think it needs to be about two-thirds of the price. So basically the price of a used model Apple Vision Pro. Because people are buying those. And that the thing I would like to see adjusted is the sensors adjusted so that it can be worn loosely without having an error pop up saying you're too far away from the screen. Because
Yeah.
I think half of the time people are getting it, it's too heavy and it's pressure on various parts of the face more than the actual weight of the device. And if you can loosen it up so it's not tight, it basically can move around, easily come off the head, easily come back on that would feel lighter even though it hasn't changed. But the sensors would have to adjust a bit to account for that because right now it has to be in exactly the right spot. I would think you'd be able to adjust it so that it could be a little bit further away or a little bit different adjusted. Um, and frankly, I would like the option to have it with a light shield or without, depending on um how much depth and how much what is that? The
Field of
side view.
vision.
Field of view. Yeah. I want to be able to increase the field of view a tiny bit. And you could do that with the light shield and adjusting something else. I don't care how they do it. I want a little bit more field of view. I want to be able to wear it loose because that's how I wear it now. And the people that seem to be happiest and complain the least about weight seem to wear their headset loosely.
Hmm.
And so they mention, it's too far away from the screen or whatever. You wiggle your ears a bit and then the message goes away. And you get more time. But maybe that's just
Yeah.
me. Huh?
You see, we're all painting a picture like he is of what he would want
Yeah,
as we would want it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what he's asking for isn't necessarily a bad thing, and maybe that would fix some of the things I want changed kind of as a side effect. I'm just saying I don't think it has to get that far to still
Mm.
be enough of an improvement. I mean, I just got through buying a used model, and I had no problem spending, you know, a third less for a used model. I was perfectly comfortable with that. Now, not everyone will be perfectly comfortable with that. And, I wish I didn't have part of yet another model that kind of wanders in and out of my life, but it
I mean, I
works.
guess
Have you?
really the
Go
question
ahead.
is what would it take to, I think it's fair to say all headsets are niche. They are enthusiast driven. That's
Yeah.
super fair to
Hmm.
say. And and even for this guy's idea of half price, half weight, is that still gonna be enough to compel my mother to get one?
Well, it's Mother's Day. You could have gotten one for her.
Yeah.
Complex relationship. Um, but right, like that's like what that wouldn't make it even iPod level mass market like appealing. I don't think half cost, half weight. So like I guess really what is this guy's target is what is his guy's imagined bar of success? Because half cost, half weight wouldn't get it there, I don't think.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Mm.
I am thinking of movies all night long, and the movie I think of is the Jeff Goldblum scene from Run, Ronnie, Run. I don't know if you know that, because in the end, all he wanted was his money back.
Mhm.
Um, uh, he goes, I want little pixies to come, and they could give little pixie dust out in very little colors, and they could sing in unison to me, but mostly I want my money back. I'll put the link in the show notes. You guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to see that movie and you need to see particularly that scene. Um, but it's like everybody wishes for something, but it just might not turn out the way it's supposed to turn out. Uh, okay, so a lot of articles on well, let's not go to that. Let's go to the An Apple Vision Pro developer learned hiking 70 miles outdoors in the headset.
How hot was it? Wow, I missed this one.
What an Apple Vision Pro. It's in there.
Huh, nice.
I thought this would have been right up your alley.
Well,
Eric.
it would have. Somehow I missed this link.
Yeah, this app,
This is
this guy
nice.
was using Cubic Layer or
Yeah,
Cubic
cubic layer.
Layer.
Layer, yeah,
Some
cubic.
somewhere it was misspelled Cublick, and I'm like, wait, am I wrong or is it wrong? It seems like it's just really interesting way to demonstrate the technology, but also like kind of play around, like him hiking and seeing like the map of all the elevation and his path and a 3D spatial view was really interesting. Just really interesting to see like that's how the device works too, like behind the scenes or them going and tracking and seeing how it does all the spatial scanning. Um, I actually want to go download this app later to play around with it because um, I mean, it just seems extremely interesting to see how this device is tracking and mapping the world. But my only other comment about it is I hope this guy had brought like 5 or 10 extra light shield cushions with him because I'm just
Yeah.
imagining like that thing was wet. That thing
Hmm.
was soaking wet in sweat. I can't even imagine. Just me doing some VR gaming for a little while. I'm like, this is gross, and I swap in a new dry, dry clean one. I can't imagine going hiking that long with just one. Ugh.
Most notably, cubic layer includes a mode which draws from the GPS of a paired iPhone to anchor virtual creations on a specific spot in the physical world.
Which was my first realization that the Vision Pro doesn't have GPS.
Yeah, I
Huh.
hadn't realized that before either.
Not that I
So,
needed it, but
so you
surprised it
could
didn't.
create things along the trail. It would register on your phone as a GPS, and then you come back, you go 10 miles, come back on the trail, and that thing that you created is still there.
In theory, that's something that in with AR in general, I mean it's not a new idea, but I always thought it'd be really cool to, be able to leave those like virtual markers in the world. Um, I envision seeing well there's lots of like little phone AR things as well along those same lines. It's just Vision Pro now, right? Like is the idea. Um, I mean heck, that's Pokemon Go, I guess, in some ways.
So I'm going to make sure that we put cubic layer in the apps
Yeah.
so folks can find it and play with it.
Yeah, it looks like it has like a mini little Minecraft mode too.
Yeah.
I was seeing some people talking about going to uh quickly pseudo design a shed they want to build in their yard with it, and it's like oh man, that I mean actually that'd be kind of nice. Build a little Minecraft shed next to your house to visualize how it would look or get at least an idea.
I'm trying to figure out what to go to next. Do you guys have anything that you want to particularly talk about
Mm, A lot of
of
these
what you,
A lot of these chip stories, I feel like, are kind of stating the obvious. Like
yeah.
Apple's making computer chips for computer things. Yep. Uh,
Yeah, they haven't come out with the new arcade games yet, but it was sort of nice that Apple kind of brought that up just to get people to go back and look in Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Um,
let's stay with the chips for a minute. Yeah, and, Daniel, I think you're right. It's kind of hard to bet on the fact that Apple's gonna not be making chips. It's sort of like, yeah, that's what they've been doing and what they've been doing more and more of. But then you get into predictions of what M6 is going to be like or what M7 is going to be like. And I think it extends the logic a little bit too much. I see them doing what one of the articles says, specialized chips for smart glasses, for AI servers, those kinds of things where there is some differentiation on the chip in terms of what it does and what purpose it ultimately is going to serve. Um, so a chip would look different for Apple glasses in what it's doing than it would look for on Vision Pro or Vision Pro 2.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. There was some rumors too, I think, about, the rumors of the camera pow enabled AirPods surfaces again. Sure, if that's going to actually be a thing, I'm sure they're going to have a nice little SoC for that. Um, and yeah, I can't imagine. I would actually like to see them get back into the server game.
Hmm.
Uh, They really could. Now's a really good time, with all the AI stuff going on as well. Um, that would be nice to see again. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Be nice for
Apple
them to
room.
come out with a desktop AI model on a single machine.
Explain
Didn't,
that. What do you mean?
yeah.
Instead of having to run a model that remotes off someplace that, a company could just buy one of Apple's new server boxes and not have to totally max it out. Um, because the high-end Apple Studio with all the memory and everything else, evidently you can run a model on it, but something where you didn't have to go quite that far as the processors get a little bit better and they come out with their server ones so that a business could just have an AI model local. That appeals to me
Yeah.
because then your data is not going somewhere else, it's sitting in-house.
Yeah. And maybe it could be a sign of, like, with Apple Intelligence and their private cloud idea for it. It it would be cool if they could make it more seamless where, um to your point, it could beam off to your server instead, but maybe if they're also selling them, then they can make it all easier to have them interconnected. I mean, I would love to see when my M3 Pro Max is sitting here idle. There's no reason why my query couldn't be routed to that via iCloud private network. That would be
Hmm,
really cool.
yeah, actually. What and kind of along the lines of new chips, the that modem chip that they have,
Well, yeah.
that's also another big thing.
Yeah, actually, and especially for the newer phones. How's that? Don't you have one of the new phones, Marty, with that
The answer to that
modem?
question always is yes. Uh,
How's that been so far?
I tell you, yeah, I own a 16 Pro Max and I'm not a photographer. Um, as I've said before, most of my photographs are pictures of my insurance card and my driver's license for every doctor's appointment I need to make. And I have a whole lineage of those. In fact, Apple is sending me one of those moments videos where all it is my driver's license and my insurance cards with Enya playing in the background. Um, I love it. I absolutely love the phone. If I wasn't such a size queen, I would probably not get the biggest, best model. In terms of, you know, I probably will when it comes out, but this 16E is just incredible. First of all, it's in my hand, it's in my pocket. It doesn't feel like I'm carrying a dumbbell in my shirt pocket. It's just easy to move around and easy to use, and so I use it more. Um, and the modem chip on it is remarkable, and I've tested it alongside the 16 Pro Max with the Qualcomm chip in it, and it is better in most cases in terms of signal strength and
Hmm.
quality of the connection. That
Nice.
help, Daniel?
Yeah, yeah, because that was kind of the big question mark
Yeah.
about it. I mean, not question mark, but that was in many ways the newest thing about it, and would clearly be a sign it would be in the future. Other phones too. So
Yeah. C2s, C3s. I think they're just testing it on a broad market new phone with all the other goodies in it to see how it works and how there is. So in part, it's a test market with this phone, but it's a large test market. They took over all the SEs basically when they stopped that, and the percentage of sales is greater than what the SE percentages were. So I think they said it's the phone they've sold the most of in the last quarter, believe it or not.
See,
Um,
I'd like to see that modem end up in a whole pile of additional products.
yeah, yeah,
like a Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or
yeah.
Mac.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone about an hour, just over an hour now. So I'm gonna suggest we just comment on some of these. There have been some other articles that you'll see in the show notes. If you guys have anything to add to these, there's a comparison by DxOMark of the AR VR headset camera capabilities of the Apple Vision Pro versus the Meta Quest 3. And Danny, I don't know if you looked at that or you have any comments on it. It was a little too much for me to digest.
Yeah, a little much. You really want to sit down with it, but TLDR was Vision Pro better. But it was really interesting to kind of skim and redo the presentation and see how they do the tests. And it's really interesting because I just never thought how you would test something like that. So,
Um, and then a slew of articles about the chips, which we kind of talked about. I don't know if there's anything else to add to that in terms of, but those articles will be in I one. Let me see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. An article by Eddie Q saying that Apple's iPhone may not be needed in the decade, that we'll have other ways and forms, I guess he believes, to communicate with than just the iPhone, different ways of doing it. It's kind of a disjointed article by Mac Observer, come to think of it.
I hope we're not using the same slabs in the next decade. That's for sure.
Yeah,
If we are, that's a big problem.
I think
Well,
glass.
we will, but hopefully it's not as the primary means. There's
I
no way
think
we'll
it'll
get
be,
away from it.
yeah, I think it'll be glass. I think we'll be more, we'll have glasses or visors or some method of phone communication and other things. Let's see. Kitchen design at Lowe's. Did you all take a look at that or did you see that? Interesting. They're testing it out in markets where you can design your kitchen with a Vision Pro. And the Lowe's app within Vision Pro kind of supports some simple designs.
It's good to see them experimenting with stuff like that. I don't know if it's quite ready to roll out everywhere, but
The problem I usually have with those, and it's just a matter of investment of time and money, but like they're never, they're always missing something, or they have too little of their inventory available.
mm,
But so, like I said, that's just a time and money
yeah.
investment problem, not a technical problem.
To reserve your dream kitchen experience, book an online appointment at Lowe's Style Studio today. So you come in, they give you the headset or they put the headset on you, and then you get to select from various Lowe's products, I guess, to design
Mm.
your setup and your arrangement. From now until June 16th, 5 locations across the Austin area are hosting complimentary kitchen visualizations and design sessions for curious DIYers and tech lovers.
Mm. It's an
So,
interesting way to get attention anyway.
yeah. All right. Did you any of you look at this trailer for the new first ever full-length immersive film?
No,
Oh,
I
I
missed
missed
that
it.
one.
I saw the notice it was coming out, but then I didn't go back in.
Yeah. It is, it's there. It's Bono Stories of Surrender. And that
Oh,
should be coming out May 30th.
I'll watch it
So,
when it's beamed to all of our Vision Pros against our will.
oh yeah, I did go and see this one. It was kind of neat, but it was more kind of like talking about things rather than
yeah.
I'd like to see a performance.
Yeah, well, you got 8 minutes of Metallica. What else do you need?
That was a
Um,
good start.
yeah. Yeah, I know David Ginsburg is in touch with iOS. He's been on here as a guest before. Is nuts about YouTube.
Hmm.
And so there's no talking him out of how good this is going to be. But I looked at the trailer, and it's a lot of close-ups of it's shot in black and white, smoky lighting and things like that for effect. I don't, and we had this discussion, I think, Eric. I
Yep.
don't know how well you can do depth in black and white,
Hmm.
um, and effects with such low light. Generally, what you see in the trailer.
It might actually be better in black and white than
Yeah,
trying to get the color. 'Cause-
but the thing that got me was, hello, this is Bono. I want to tell you a story of my life. And then I'm going to sing a little bit, a song that's associated with that story. So it seemed like a lot of Bono, uh, Bono storytelling. And the energy for that is like, for me, is up and down and up and down because I have to sit through the story to get to the music.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I will
impressive to
probably,
see a full length anything though.
yeah, yeah. So when it's beamed to our headsets without against our own will, um, and it will be stored on our headsets against our own will,
Hmm.
then I'll have to take a look at it. But if you're excited about this, I would say don't ruin the surprise by looking at the trailer. Just go in with it cold because the trailer did got me less excited about it.
Hmm.
5 new Apple Arcade games, in particular, the one that I think draws folks' attention is What the Car, and when are these coming out, Eric? You said
It
June
was
5th.
yeah. So
Yeah, on
I'm
June.
just gonna hold judgment until I can actually see it. Now,
Yeah,
the fact that it's June 6th puts it really close to WWDC, so yeah, I'm
June
hoping
5th is what they say, but
oh 5th. Okay, then yeah, I'm hoping it's a sign that there will be more and more Apple Vision Pro news, and this is just kind of adding into that.
yeah, and I've seen some YouTube video of the What the Car game, short. It's like a minute, minute and a half, but it does look interesting. I mean, just as much as playing table tennis or anything else where you're interacting with what's in front of you. It's arcade game, so it's first person driver basically. Um,
I kind of want to play Uno though,
yeah,
because I have no full sets of Uno anywhere that I have access to. I have partials.
but Uno's not it's not a Vision Pro exclusive.
No, but it's still gonna be there and you should still be able to play it. It's not,
Yeah, it's not like it's not going to be on the
I
device.
won't lose the card. Really, that's all I care
Yeah,
about. This is a full
yeah,
deck. Normally, I'm not playing with a full deck.
full
No.
deck.
Yeah. Next, what else are we gonna
Daniel,
talk
any
about?
comments on the arcade games?
Not in particular. I'm also
Yeah.
not an Apple Arcade subscriber, so
Oh.
which is a shame because there's like two or three I would do, but not enough to do a subscription for. I'm actually trying to pare down my subscriptions right now, so
Then just get an Apple One subscription and then you're done.
and oh good, then I'd have access to like five other services I won't use.
Oh,
You know,
there's some good services on Apple One.
I
Yeah.
oddly enough, I use Apple Arcade games primarily to play solitaire while I'm waiting for something to download and I'm trying not to become impatient.
So, Daniel, do you have a TV subscription, TV Plus?
Nope.
Oh, okay. How does it feel to be out of the loop?
Oh, I'm in the loop by means.
Yeah. All right, we won't go there. So let's go into the apps worth mentioning for tonight. Again, you can follow the live stream on YouTube at Vision Profiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Or catch the video later on YouTube and or the audio on any podcatcher, and we will have the links to these and more of the different things that we've been talking about, the websites we've been talking about, the stories we've been talking about, so you can find them right within the podcast notes or within the YouTube notes. So first one up is Grand Score, and it is available in the for the iPhone, the iPad, and the Apple Vision Pro, and it is good for folks who play piano. It inputs sheet music into the app, and you can gain experiences that weren't possible just with the traditional PDF version. So you can get a visualization of the sheet music, I guess, if you want to play piano with your Vision Pro headset on. You can also get a playback. You can get a partial playback or one hand playback in cases of scores that have both of those. Um, it's interesting for pianists. I am not a musician. Played guitar for a while, but not at this level or capacity, and I haven't had the interest or opportunity, I would say time, to try and learn an instrument later in life. But I have a daughter who does vocal performance and also does piano when she's working with students. And so something like this, I think, would be very helpful for her or any person who is a musician, particularly who needs a score in front of them.
I want to see somebody wearing an Apple Vision Pro while they're doing a class.
Hmm. I was imagining that too, or like a couple people playing in a little group, and just some of them, because they'll have their sheet music on like an iPad on a stand, and just envisioning them wearing a headset playing is just kind of funny to think about.
My daughter for years taught at a school of music where she had recitals, and we were going there as proud parents of our daughter. But I've sat through my fair share amount of recitals when my daughter was young. And now that she's an adult and teaching, I've sat through my fair share amount of recitals of the students that she's teaching. But yeah, I can imagine what you're saying, Daniel. Some kid walks in with a Vision Pro headset on and plays some Mozart. It's a free app, but it has a premium plan for $9, um, and it
Yeah,
has a pretty good version history.
yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for having virtual music because it does not blow away. So if
Yeah,
you're trying to do something outdoors, other than, having a Vision Pro on your head, um,
yeah. My daughter has a 13-inch iPad,
oh,
and so
that would
she
work.
does all of her music that way, flipping through, and she can write notes
Yeah.
on it. She do all sorts of things with it
Mm.
that's not available in other formats. So,
Hmm.
okay, Mike Streamer.
Yeah, I added that one. I saw this one on Reddit a few days ago. It's actually some good timing for me. So if you are game streaming in any form, like with Moonlight, to your Vision Pro, so just projecting the game from your gaming PC to your Vision Pro. Um,
Hmm.
One thing I noticed is lacking of is the ability to send the mic stream over. So I can't say there hasn't been times in the past where I wanted to play the game in it, but still talk with my friends. So I have this headset on over my Vision Pro as well, sitting at my desk, which kind of then defeats some of the purpose of doing all that because I'm literally sitting in front of two screens that I'm projecting wirelessly into my headset just so I can wear a headset and talk to them.
Huh.
That deletes that complex convoluted complexity. And it's basically just a little guy that'll send your mic as a as an audio input back to your computer and give you a little hot like mute button. So I haven't gotten a chance to try this yet, but I will be soon, since there's going to be a new Elden Ring like sub game that me and my friends are
Uh,
going to pick up. So
Hmm.
perfect timing, honestly, because that will see me using my Vision Pro a lot more as a couch gaming screen for me. Um, so yeah, seems super useful. Kind of silly at the whole use a whole nother app, an applet to stream the mic over. They should just build it into Moonlight or what have you. But hey, it be is what it do right now. So for 4.99, hey, that's worth it.
I had a
Hmm.
professional friend who was really into Elden Ring, and she convinced me you need to do this. This is so good. It's so wonderful.
You got beat up, huh?
And so I got a PlayStation, which is weird for me because I can't manage those hand devices for any worth. And then I got it and loaded it and got stuck in a tree and couldn't figure out how to get unstuck in a tree. And that lasted about 30 minutes. And I thought, I'm done with this game. And then sold it to my son or gave it to my son, and he probably sold it. Um, so I'm glad we have a gamer in our group because I don't know, Eric's not much, or you're not much of a gamer. No, either am I. So I'm glad, Daniel, you're with us just for that reason. Speaking of games, disc.
Oh, yeah. This one actually kind of surprised me because I'm not a golfer. I don't really do. I haven't done much with a frisbee in forever, but
Have you played disc golf?
everybody talks about disc golf, and I was kind of curious, so I thought it's an app that's supposed to teach you how to play disc golf or teach you how to play better. So I thought, okay, I'll take a look. And it's actually not bad. You get a little vault of discs. It starts off with a bunch of rules and discussion and background, and I then skipped all of that, and as a result, didn't really have the instructions to get to the next spot, but I could grab a disc and I could throw it, and it went, and you grab the next disc and you jump ahead on whatever the course. I have no idea where I was going because I didn't read that part. But it ran. The I had a couple of times where it was a little confusing and I would drop the discs or it couldn't track my hand quite right. Um, there it probably would be worth paying a little bit more attention, but it did what it was supposed to do. And I, enjoyed myself for the time I was playing. Almost enough to think I might try it more than once.
Daniel, have you played disc golf at all?
No, but I swear everywhere I go, I see it so often, all the
Yeah.
time.
I got into it a couple of summers ago, and by getting into it means, oh, this is new, let me try it. Um, and and my wife and I would go out to a couple of because they have courses. They have one on campus where it's basically strips of grass between buildings that they didn't have any use for, so they made a golf course out of it, a disc golf course out of it. It's harder than you think. I used to be a pretty mean ass frisbee player on the quad at the University of Illinois back in the day. And I thought, oh, okay, it's harder than you think in real life, or it's harder for me in real life. We would go out and there's courses in parks parks have set it up, and Aileen and I would go out. And then we went to Chicago and I got my sister into it a little bit and we found this kind of mini golf, disc golf, so you didn't have to throw it that far.
Yeah.
I was thinking like tiny pizza, like little
No,
plant-sized
no,
little baby discs.
no,
Whee!
it was harder to miss because you were so
Yeah,
close.
nice.
But still, you'd see I'd go to some of these courses and you'd see guys that they just take it and they just like they're throwing a shot put or something. They do the step up the run and then they let go and it like goes 100 yards.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing, but I'm tempted now with this disc uh, game that you found and fun to play with. So
Yeah, give it a try. Let me
yeah,
know if it comes close at all. I'm
yeah.
curious.
I mean, the unfortunate part about all these games is that I was traveling today, so I didn't get to play with them or try them out once we got them in the notes. So I will give that a look and listen to. We've got some comments, Cletus, and we've got folks in the chat room. But Cletus and Matthew Waller said, yeah, if Apple was going to make the mass market cheap version a la Meta, they would have they would have to subsidize the cost in some way. And I just don't see Apple doing that. Um, and Cletus' response was actually, Matthew, the subsidized set is called the is calling on the iPhone.
Oh, the
Uh,
satellite stuff?
yeah,
Yeah.
the satellite
Mm.
is calling on the iPhone.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. Hmm.
And so it's good to have Matthew in and Cletus again. Thanks for joining us with that.
Yeah, he's right. I wonder, I'm sure it's out there
Hmm.
what kind of loss. Because there's no way they are even break even on the hardware. No way. I would not
Yeah.
believe you. So, yeah, he's right.
So anything else for the show before we sign out? I
No,
guess not.
I'm looking forward to kind of trying all the updates and see
Yeah.
if I anything changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's weird being in this hotel recording this because I'm not in my familiar surroundings and I don't have all the screens that I have, nor the size that I have. But while I was trying to sort things out, you guys were having some really good conversation on topics. So I appreciate that. As a listener, as a producer of this, it was just really nice to hear how engaged you were around ideas and appreciate it. Appreciate that. So I want to let you know that MacStock is coming up. MacStock is a great conference that is in Northern Illinois in Crystal Lake near Woodstock, hence the name MacStock. And you can find out about it at macstockconferenceandexpo.com. They have all the speakers up, they have the topics up, and if you want to join us at MacStock, you can get $50 off with the code PodTalk50. Just use that code. I'd encourage you to go to macstockconferenceandexpo.com and check out what's available with that. This is not a paid advertisement. We do it out of love for the experience, and I appreciate Mike Potter and all the work he does to put the shows together, put the MacStock conference together. And it's just a great group of people. It's a smaller group. Cletus will be there. I think I saw him say he had gotten his plane ticket. And I'll be there, and so will Eric and a bunch of other folks that are part of the podcasting network around Mac and Apple stuff. So take a look at macstockconferenceandexpo.com. Thank you for tuning in. We'd love to hear from our listeners if you have any ideas, or if you want to join an episode. Seriously, just email us at visionprofilespodcast@gmail.com, and we'll set it up so you can be part of an episode if that's what you'd like to do. It's always fun to have kind of new people drop in and comment on articles, and you'll get all the articles that we have. So you'll know what we're going to be talking about. And you don't have to comment on everything. Just if you'd like to join, that's great. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn more about us and the Vision Profile podcast at our website, thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.